Hey guys and girls, how's it going? Hope you guys are having a great week. Alright, it's Friday, so I'm going to do a gaming news video this week, and I wanted to pick a topic that I've really been thinking about and had an opinion on for a very long time, but I've never actually got around to actually recording anything, so here it is. Today's topic is on DLC. Is it a good thing? Is it a bad thing? What do I class as good DLC? What do I class as bad DLC? That's what I'm going to talk about today. So let's start first. So we can pretty much say that in the last sort of 5 years, there's been a significant increase in the amount of DLC that's becoming available for mainstream games. So let's start off really. I want to start positive as always, and I want to talk about the good. So how can DLC be good? Well, the first way in which DLC can be very, very good is it can actually extend the gameplay length, the story of a game. Now, I am a huge fan of story-based DLC. I love any kind of DLC that's going to expand on the main campaign, that's going to delve more in depth into sort of characters and character development, maybe focus on side characters that you want to find more information about. You might want to play as those characters, but you can't in the main story, but you can in DLC. Take, for example, the new Watch Dogs DLC that's out. Where you get to play as T-Bone. That is awesome. I loved him in the main game and I really wanted to play as him, and now you actually can in DLC content. The infamous Second Son, we now have the new DLC First Light, where you get to play as Fetch. Again, it just gives you that opportunity to play as a different character, to sort of see their motivations, their character development. Now for me, the best kind of quality DLC that I have ever played, it has to be the Mass Effect series. Mass Effect 2 for me had some of the best DLC that was going, and it was actually story-based DLC that developed the story, during the course of the main game as well as after it. Now, I'm a huge fan of DLC that continues on the main campaign after you finish the main story. I absolutely love that. So yeah, if it's anything to do with story-based, extending that storyline, I'm a huge fan. It also allows you to enjoy the game for a longer period of time. Often, many developers will release DLC up to a year after the game's already been released, and that just means that you're getting to enjoy this game for a lot longer period rather than just completing it initially in a couple of weeks and then putting it down. You're actually going to be able to get to come back to this, some of your favorite games and replay them and play all these new missions. And that for me, for Mass Effect 3, was a lifeline for me because I did not want that game to end. So every time a new DLC content came out, I lapped it up. And for the year that it was around after its release date, I loved it. When I played that last DLC, the Citadel, man, was that an emotional moment for me. I did not want it to finish at all. So yeah, DLC can be very, very good for that. It can let you stick with your games that you really love, so you don't have to give them up as soon as you would if you had completed the main campaign. It can also be good. It's definitely a good vehicle for things like patches and improvements. Now, 20 years ago when games were released, if they came with bugs and issues and problems, you just had to play through. You had to deal with it. But the fact is, because of downloadable content, developers can actually interact with fans. They can find out what sort of leveling issues they're having, what sort of problems they're having, and they can actually release patches to fix those problems, to improve that gameplay experience. Take Destiny, for example. A lot of people were bitching about the whole leveling system in the multiplayer. A lot of people were bitching about the whole random number generator that was being used when you were sort of cashing in blue engrams and you were getting lower grade stuff. A lot of people complained about that, and hey, you know what? Bungie listened and they've released a patch. So now that random number generator, those engrams, when you are cashing them in, you're actually going to get something on the same level or higher now. Now that is fantastic, where developers can actually listen to fans and improve their content that they're bringing out, solve any bugs, solve any problems. I absolutely love it, and I think that's a really good side to DLC. The other thing as well is it can actually be very good for online games where people play a game mainly for the online. You can add things like new maps, new game modes. Look at Titanfall, for example. There's been a lot of really good maps that have been added. There have been a couple of new game modes that have been added. Destiny's going to have tons and tons of multiplayer DLC content coming in the future. It's just really good. I really like anything multiplayer. I like maps. I like game modes. That's the kind of DLC content that I really like. I also like things like skins that you can unlock, customization things that you can unlock to make your character more unique, make them look different. I loved all the customization that you could do in Borderlands, for example, Borderlands 2. There were so many skins that you could buy, things like a Naruto ship in an Ultimate Ninja Storm Revolution. There are tons of skins that are going to be coming out for that game that you can put onto your different characters. They look different. I love it. I like skins. I like customization. I think that's good DLC content. Alright, what do I think is bad DLC content? Now, this is the bit where I have issue with DLC. The first thing I completely dislike is DLC content for online that's basically, it's pay to unlock this ability, or pay to get this weapon, pay to unlock this. If you give us £12 or you spend £15, we will give you all of the skills that you would otherwise have to play the game through to unlock it. The biggest game for me that I think is the worst for this is the Assassin's Creed series. The DLC content for the multiplayer in Assassin's Creed is nothing else but shit DLC. It's bad DLC. It's people just literally paying to win. Knock out 15 quid, unlock all the abilities, go into that multiplayer with everything unlocked. There's no sort of leveling needed or involved for your character, and you're just basically going into that game completely OP so that you can effectively own everybody else in the game. Now, what is the point in having a leveling system in a multiplayer game where you actually have to play the game, get used to the game dynamics, improve as an actual player, beat other players fairly with your skill, if you can just go ahead, throw down £15 and just unlock everything? That for me is just, I hate it. I can't stand that sort of DLC content where you literally pay to unlock something or pay to win. Don't like it, hate it. I think it needs to be getting rid of, especially in multiplayer games. I also don't like things like weapon mods and unlocking sort of uber class weapons. Again, that's just an unfair advantage that you're going to have over somebody that maybe can't afford to buy that DLC content. It doesn't make you a better player. It just means that you've got more money that you can throw down to get that weapon so that you can literally pwn everybody in that level. I don't like that kind of DLC content either. I will also say as well, I'm not a fan of season passes. I don't like them. I actually think they're overpriced. I think that a lot of the content within season passes is actually quite weak. Usually there's only sort of one sort of story-based season, story-based content within that season pass. The rest of them tend to be weapons or skins or that kind of thing. I don't like season passes. Now, for me, a season pass tells me that when you buy that game, the developer of that game has already taken content out of the main game and literally saved it for future DLC, for a future season pass. Because when you buy that season pass, it will tell you what you will get within that season pass. Now that for me says these developers, they've already done that content, they've already made it, they know what it is, they've just removed it from the main game so they can sell it later and make an extra money from it. So now when you're looking at buying brand new games, you're looking at spending £50 plus £20 on top. You're looking at spending £70, $80-$90 on a game just to buy the main game plus the season pass. I think it is a crock of shit, basically. I think it's terrible. I do not like season passes. I also significantly dislike day one DLC. That really pisses me off because that's content that's been made during the development of the game. It should be in that game. It should be on that disc, on that main game. One of the biggest day one DLC packs that really annoyed me was Mass Effect 3, when you basically had to buy a day one DLC DLC pack to unlock the character of Javik, one of the Protheans in the game. Now, if any of you know Mass Effect 3, the Protheans are pretty key characters within that franchise. To have him as a DLC character when he was so crucial to the story, he was such a crucial character to what was going on in Mass Effect 3 for me, I found that incredibly annoying. So I really hate day one DLC. Now, for me as well, the length of DLC is very important, especially when it comes to that story-based campaign, that story-based DLC. A lot of DLC is quite expensive. If a DLC is going to cost me $8.99, I think it should be at least 3 or 4 hours length, in content. Absolutely. I cannot stand a DLC that might be, £9-10 and it's like an hour's worth of gameplay. Like, how is that good value for money? It's not. So I think the length of the DLC, how long that DLC is, should really affect its price. If it's an hour DLC, maybe £4. If it's 2 hours, 5-6 quid. 3 hours, 8-9 quid. That's how I think it should actually be priced for DLC. So those are my thoughts on DLC. Now, I'm not saying that all DLC is bad, because I certainly don't think that. I think there is good DLC, I think there is bad DLC, but I think season passes need to go. We need to get rid of them. I don't like it. It's making developers lazy. It's making producers greedy. It's meaning that they're developing mediocre content for gamers, knowing that they can get away with it because later on they're just going to add more content that you've got to pay for. Look at Destiny, for example. The main story was through it had so many holes, so many plot points that were not developed, and you can bet later on that's going to become available in a DLC pack. So I don't like it. I'm not a big fan of it with regards to that. But hey, those are my thoughts on DLC. That's the good, that's the bad, that's what I think about them. So let me know what you guys think. What do you guys think of DLC? Do you like DLC? Do you download DLC content regularly? Or do you not download it in principle? Let me know in the comment section below what you think about DLC and why. Share your thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit that like button as always to show your support. Any support you guys can give is always appreciated. I'm on 312 subscribers, guys. I can't believe it. I'm so blown away by the support that I've been shown. Thank you so much, guys. You guys are so awesome. All right, have a great day, guys and girls. Take care. And as always, guys, happy gaming. Yeah.